This episode is brought to you by Michelob Ultra. Michelob Ultra is perfect for more than just the summer heat this year, because not only is it refreshing and crisp with only 95 calories, but Ultra is also the official beer sponsor of Team USA at the Olympic Games Paris 2024. Celebrate every point, race, and moment with Team USA and Michelob Ultra for the Olympic Games Paris 2024. Stock up on Michelob Ultra and cheer on Team USA. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The land down under has never been easier to reach. United Airlines has more flights between the U.S. and Australia than any other U.S. airline, so you can fly nonstop to destinations like Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. Explore dazzling cities, savor the very best of Aussie cuisine, and get up close and personal with the wildlife. Who doesn't want to hold a koala? Go to united.com/Australia to book your adventure.
Think you know the Brooks Ghost? Think again. Introducing the all-new, better-than-ever Ghost 16. Now with nitrogen-infused cushioning for lightweight, supreme softness that feels good every step, every street, every single day. So go ahead, take your daily joyride in the all-new nitrogen-infused Ghost 16. It'll turn your everyday miles into everyday endorphins. Let's run there. Head to brooksrunning.com to learn more.
This episode is brought to you by Experian. Are you paying for subscriptions you don't use but can't find the time or energy to cancel them? Experian could cancel unwanted subscriptions for you, saving you an average of $270 per year and plenty of time. Download the Experian app. Results will vary. Not all subscriptions are eligible. Savings are not guaranteed. Paid membership with connected payment account required.
And welcome back to the Skating Penguin Network, everyone. It's Robbie here once again on another August Monday as we get into the first full week of the new month, and we have another mailbag episode as we do. I'm joined across the mic from the guy you know as Snail out in Seattle. And Snail, we're into August now, and it's kind of slowing down news-wise. We need something to get the old mill churning again, because it's getting a little boring out there.
Yeah, it's like the doldrums of the hockey off season, but never fear, because 8-7 is near. Yeah,
we definitely hope that maybe this week we'll get some news on Sidney Crosby, 8-7 being his birthday, his lucky number, all that fun stuff. So we patiently wait here in the next 48-ish hours. We might have more news there. But until then, it is another mailbag episode, and
it is
once again the question askers coming through for us.
Absolutely, our loyal listeners. Thank you guys again for keeping our mailbags going, so we can have airtime to talk about hockey and the Penguins and all the other stuff we like to talk about too. Robbie, before we get into it, you see the stock market?
Yeah, it wasn't a great day if you are heavily invested in the stocks.
Yeah, crazy. It's kind of weird times. It feels like we've got this tumultuous election about to go down with assumedly like Kamala Harris and Big 45 Donald Trump, and then we've got the stock market that's completely tanked. It's on day 2 of being just completely in the red. And COVID's going back around. I had COVID not that long ago. Robbie, you're just getting out of another bout of COVID. How many times is that for you?
I believe this is 3.
Yeah, 3. 3 seems to be the magic number right now. Not in the news like it used to be, but I feel like everyone's kind of come down with it this summer. A lot of people.
Seems like it. Yeah, even if they get tested positive for it, it definitely seems like there are definitely people fighting it at different points this summer. I know of 2 other people that have it right now. Didn't get it from them. I wasn't around them, but definitely more and more people seem to be coming down with it these last few months or weeks here as the summer's kind of kicked up.
Just the worst time to get COVID in the summer. Being sick when it's hot outside and it's already uncomfortable. It's like it's a special kind of hell. Mm-hmm. But yeah, with the chaos in the world that's happening right now, we will divert our attention with some questions here. And the first one going to you, Robbie's coming from our pal Brian. and he asks if there's no changes to the current Penguins roster, what would your best guess be for the bottom 6?
So we were talking about this before we hit record on here, and the Penguins have a litany of forwards, and most of those forwards would qualify for what I would say are bottom 6 players. The top 6, I think, is pretty, at least as of right now, pretty set in stone. I think we've talked about that several points this summer, who's going to be where, but I think that's pretty much set. But the bottom 6, I think, is pretty much all up for grabs. But some new faces, some old faces. Starting on the third line, I think all signs point to Kevin Hayes being the 3C to start the season. I think that's why the Penguins traded for him. He has a little bit more of an offensive punch than Lars Eller does, perhaps. But I think that Hayes will be there to start the season. On his right side, I'm going to say Valtteri Puustinen. He's earned it. Had a great season last year at the Penguins. Tossed in a couple goals and assists. I think with the proper center, he can definitely improve those numbers. So I'm going to say Puustinen gets the right wing third line nod. And then on the third line left wing, I'm going to go out on a limb here maybe a little bit and say Anthony Beauvillier. They brought him in with the hopes that he can kind of reignite his career a little bit. He's played well against the Penguins in the past when he was with the Islanders. So I'm going to say he gets that a shot on that third line left wing to start the season. So that would make the third line Kevin Hayes, Anthony Beauvillier, and Valtteri Puustinen. Dropping down to the fourth line, I think this is where Lars Eller should be and where he should have been last year as the fourth line center. I think ideally, even with his offensive output, that is his best role on the team for the Penguins as constructed. And then flanking him on the left, I have the new guy, Blake Lizotte. I think Lizotte is definitely a guy that has a spot in this roster. I think that's why he's brought in. A lot of people were very high on him when he signed back in early July. And then on the other side, I think unless he's injured, which definitely has happened a lot this past year, is Noah Chari's spot. And then the fighting it out between guys like Matt Nieto, Jesse Puljujarvi for a spot as well. But I think Achari, Dubas likes him, Sullivan seems to like him. So I think that fourth line is Blake Lizotte, Lars Eller, and Noah Chari. So that's how I kind of see the bottom 6 panning out, at least to start the season.
I like that fourth line. I think Lars Eller is pretty good defensively, and he's good down low, holding on to pucks. That's something we saw him pretty good at in the third line role, but Achari's good at that too. And I don't know if it was just they didn't have enough center depth that they had to keep them spread out, but I think Achari and an Eller on a fourth line with a buzzsaw like Lizotte, who's he's comparable to like Tanev, Brandon Tanev. Kind of his game's comparable to that. So some guys that can hit bodies and hold on to pucks and wear down the other team. I like that for a fourth line. I feel like the Penguins have like 6 third liners right now. Like you said, Beauvillier, Kevin Hayes, Eller is a third liner, was for most of last year. So it'll be interesting to see how this roster shakes out. But you think Puljujarvi is going to be an odd man out again? Like, do you think he's going to have a hard time finding a spot?
I really do think he does. He was kind of the odd man out last year, even when there was injuries. So I don't know what's going on there. It basically cost him nothing to be the odd man out. We'll see what he does with a full healthy offseason, what he can bring in training camp. But the Penguins love Achari. They didn't sign Lizotte to put him as an extra guy. Eller is defensively good enough and offensively still good enough to be an everyday player. And I don't think Puljujarvi does enough offensively to really warrant a third line position, at least out of camp. So, yeah, I think as of right now, unless he proves something different in training camp, I think Jesse Puljujarvi is your 13th forward.
Unfortunate.
Yep. All right. Next up, we have Brian again, and this is specified for Snell here. Brian said he needs a mid-year update for Snail on how the knees are feeling and holding up.
The knees are like never really at 100%. They haven't been for probably
Yeah.
a decade, and they get progressively worse. But right now, not too bad, to be totally honest. Nothing, no knee injuries, no nothing like that. I actually, for my job, I've never worn them, but as a painter, there's especially interior work, you have to be on your knees at times, getting down low and doing stuff with trim and millwork and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I got a pair of knee pads. So
okay.
I strapped on a pair of knee pads, and they've been saving my knees a little bit of extra, from a little bit of extra aches and pains. So they've helped out and paid off a lot. $25 investment, well worth it. Not stylish. Looks like I'm padding up to skate a vert ramp or something like that, but they're helping out. So the knees are all right now. This mid-year report, nothing too bad. It's usually in the winter when it gets bad, because like with the, I don't know if it's just like pre-arthritis or something, but when it's cold, my knees ache. Everything's tighter, and that's when things hurt. In the summertime, everything's a little more loosey-goosey.
Now, in the winter, you're doing more interior work too, I'm assuming. So you're more on the hands and knees as well. And you're not in a profession that is very kind to the joints, even at a young age, and only gets worse the older you get, because you're I mean, it's constant. You're up ladders, walking, you're on your feet all day. It's tough to sit and paint. So yeah, I don't envy you there.
Yeah, it's not kind to the body, and it's not kind to like the neck, the back, and the knees and the ankles and all that kind of stuff. So that's not going to change anytime soon. But yeah, the knee pad's well worth the investment.
Good.
All right, from Andreas Castle, our third question of the mailbag today. He asks, on this, I love these kinds of questions, Robbie. I know that we're a hockey podcast, but like, let's be real. We like talking about the stuff near and dear to our heart, and that's food and beverages.
Yeah.
He asks, what is your favorite soft drink? And a soft drink is just what, like a non-alcoholic drink?
I guess I thought soda is what I was kind of leaning at here. But yeah, for me, I have to go with just an ice cold Coke. I love a good Coke. It's just the crispness of a Coke is tough to beat. Also on this list are Dr. Pepper. I am a massive Dr. Pepper fan. The soda, the soda squirt. I grew up drinking that as a young kid, and in the summer, my grandfather would make a drink that was a squirt mixed with cranberry juice.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, basically, if you're an adult, you can easily make an adult with a little vodka, make it like a vodka cranberry type drink if you're into that thing. But like, I would say that Coke and Dr. Pepper are my 1-2 for sure. Especially a good.
That's your Malkin Crosby.
That's my Malkin Crosby. Yeah, I don't know why like Dr. Pepper. I don't even remember the first time I had Dr. Pepper, but it's just always been like a go-to for me. It's just, to me, the flavor is good. I know a lot of people that don't like Dr. Pepper, but I'm a big Dr. Pepper fan. And a good Coke on a hot day, there's nothing better than cracking open a Coke. I believe
it's good at all seasons. It's a summer drink. It's a winter drink.
Coke is versatile. I mean, you see all the Coke commercials during the holidays with the polar bears.
Yep.
I mean, it's clearly advertised as a year-round beverage. I believe that Andreas said he's a Mountain Dew fan since visiting the United States.
Since '99.
Maybe they don't have Mountain Dew over in Europe, but I do enjoy the occasional Mountain Dew as well. I do enjoy partaking in a good Mountain Dew every once in a while too. But Mountain Dew for me, it's definitely more of a winter drink or a summer drink. Sorry,
summer drink. It's refreshing.
It's citrus. Yeah,
citrus.
Yeah.
Have you had the Mountain Dew Baja Blast in a can?
I don't know if I've had it in a can. I've had it out of a bottle.
Out of a bottle?
Yeah.
Like a plastic bottle.
Yeah, like a 12 ounce. Yeah, like you buy in the store. Yeah.
I can't believe it took them that long to market, like to bring that to market to where you could get that from somewhere other than Taco Bell.
So Taco Bell, they've recently also started marketing their sauces.
I have some. I bought some Taco Bell hot sauce, fire sauce.
Awesome.
They're so good.
Yeah. I don't know what, like, again, why these fast food chains increase their profit, wouldn't start bottling these and selling them. I don't know. It's a great decision because I love Taco Bell sauces. So good idea by them. The Baja Blast they've started selling too. And another one that's low-key good, not low-key, a lot of people know about it, is a Sprite, but specifically from McDonald's fountains. They have a different kind of crispness.
It's different.
It is. It just, and again, it's a summer thing, but it just hits a little bit different on a 90-degree day. Just get up there, tell them, hey, I just need a Sprite. It just hits a little bit different.
They do. The McDonald's Sprites, I don't know what it was, but growing up, it was like, when I got introduced to the chicken McNugget meal, I stopped. Yeah. I would get a Sprite with the nuggets as opposed to a Coke with the burger and fries. Yeah. And oh man, that is quite a sensory experience. That Sprite and chicken nuggets. To your point, also, I saw they've been selling. I saw it in the store. They sell Chick-fil-A sauce now in a bottle.
They do.
The fabled Chick-fil-A sauce. So, dude, as I'm with you on the Coke. So for me, the Coca-Colas that are in the glass bottle, the original formula.
Yep, the Mexican Cokes. Yep,
the Mexican Cokes. Yes, that's what we call them here too. Those are immaculate drink.
They are. They're perfect.
They're perfect. An ice cold one of those out of the bottle. Pop that thing open. Oh man. And Dr. Pepper. So Dr. Pepper is my number 2 as well. I didn't have Dr. Pepper until I went to junior high, and they had vending machines there. And I remember that they just always be out of Coca-Cola because it was the most popular at lunch and stuff. And one time I just tried Dr. Pepper. I believe they call it 23 flavors as well.
Dr. Pepper, yeah, it has 23 flavors, yeah.
They don't tell you what they are?
Nah, I don't think so. I probably don't want to know, but no.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to know either, but Dr. Pepper, a cold Dr. Pepper, there's something really good about that. Yeah, that's my Crosby Malkin. And then you said squirt. I recently, actually yesterday, I got a Mexican squirt. It's a glass bottle. It's a glass bottle squirt, and it's like there's no corn syrup in it either or something, which I don't know. I'm not a corn syrup hater. I just noticed that that's kind of like the Mexican Coke to a canned Coke type of formula. That was delicious. A little bit of tequila in a glass bottle squirt is a delightful summer drink as well. But I'm curious, dude, so out in other countries, they probably don't carry a lot of the same sodas we got, huh? Like Andreas probably doesn't. Does he know what a Dr. Pepper is?
Yeah, Andreas, you're going to have to let us know because I don't know what is popular over in Germany. Like, I mean, I know like you have your mega corporations, Coke. I know you can get over there. Pepsi, I know you can get over there. But can you get like a root beer over there? Can you get
Does the European mind know what a root beer is?
That's another one. Like a Barks is perfect for me.
Barks has bite.
Yes. But what are your sodas or soft drinks, I guess is the word we should use, over there outside of your main big corporations like Coke? Can you get a root beer? Can you get a Dr. Pepper? Can you get a Sprite over there? You got to chime in and let us know because that's very interesting.
That would be very interesting. I'm very curious about your guys' culture over there across the pond.
Absolutely. All right, moving right along here. We're back to Brian here. If Braden Yeager makes the roster out of camp, would you place him on Sid's line, or is that too much to ask from him so soon? With the shot he possesses, he could thrive, and it would be a cheap option.
A cheap option for sure. Do you want him on Sid's line? I don't know, because from the highlights I've seen of Braden Yeager, he's got such a wicked shot. I kind of like, and Robbie, you can chime in. I'm not saying that my opinion is the correct one, but I like how Sid works with like Drew O'Connor and Russ down low. I like that they play down below the dots, and they're a lot. Sid's so much to contain with how good at protecting the puck he is. I like Yeager on. I wouldn't mind starting him on the third line. I think a guy like Kevin Hayes, who's actually the foot speed isn't there for Kevin Hayes, and he's not really scoring a ton himself, but he's a great passer. He's got a great pass. I'm looking for a guy who can find Braden on like the third line, lesser matchups. I wouldn't mind seeing him on PP1 right there in the Ovechkin dot. You know, he's got such a wicked one-timer and such a wicked shot. So on Sid's line, I don't know. I just don't know if he's the type of player that we don't know yet. I'm not saying I know, but we don't know if he's the type of player that can really complement Sid's game. And Sid's line is rarely ever the problem. I think a guy like Drew O'Connor, he plays really well with like blue collar type players, straight line players.
Yep.
Braden Yeager's got a little more razzle dazzle to his game. I don't know if I want him necessarily with Malkin because Malkin wants the puck all the time. I'd like to see him maybe if he's pushing out like a Puustinen or a Puljujärvi or who did you mention? Was on your third line?
Puustinen, Hayes, and Beauvillier.
Beauvillier. It's like I wouldn't mind him pushing out a Beauvillier or something like that. I think I would be interested to see how he does on like a third line scoring line, and some power play time as well, just to see that shot. So, but yeah, he would be a cheap option, and I think we're all a little excited. I don't know what the expectations are for him right now, Robbie. I think it's a little bit too early to get too excited about him making the team. I mean, if he made the team, they have 9 games or 8 games to be able to kind of send him down, or
I'm not sure because he had signed his ELC, so I'm not sure what all the rules are.
Right, there's some stipulations.
They have 9 games, I believe it is.
But wouldn't that be cool if he's just he's a first rounder. He's not heavy enough. I don't think. I think he's like 170. He's 6 foot. He needs to beef up. So hopefully he's pouring on the calories this summer, and it'll be interesting to see. But hey, there's a lot of players a lot of first rounders can make the NHL out of camp, and the Penguins could use a bright spot in a young guy like him making an impact on a team in some role. All right, let's move on to another question from Brian, and he says, "Did you see the video of Erik Karlsson's pregame meal? It's pasta, Alfredo, meat sauce, raw onion, hot sauce, and ketchup with some salt and pepper added."
Yeah, I do remember this video popping up, I believe, during the season, and I mean, it starts out fine. The pasta and then the Alfredo or the meat sauce I'd be okay with. Like, I can't get to mixing those two is a little like antithetical to me. Like, that just doesn't make sense. That would probably send an Italian into a coma. Like, if you told them that like you're mixing pasta and Alfredo sauce. But so yeah, if you pick one of them two sauces, then fine. But it really goes off the rails. Even if you put onion in the sauce, that isn't that outward, that crazy. The hot sauce, all right, maybe you like it a little spicy. The ketchup really gets it off the rails here. And then, of course, you got to have the salt and pepper. I mean, you can't just have all that other stuff and not have a little spice on top of it. The makings of a good pregame meal are here. It's just, one, there's no protein at all.
That's a great point. Well, is it meat sauce?
Meat, it is. So if he's using like a bolognese, and technically Alfredo, I mean, with the bolognese, I guess if it's like a bolognese, you could, but still, there's just a lot. Like, there's some makings of a good meal here. I just don't know if that's something I could stomach. That's just there's a lot going on there. What would be your pregame meal, Snail?
Oh boy, I don't even know because a pregame meal is supposed to have intention behind it. It's supposed to be the right amount of calories and protein and carbs and then you go take a nap and then you don't eat again until the game starts. And that's supposed to be your energy source. God, my pregame meal would probably be like how
would a vegan make a pregame meal?
It's just it's the protein that I think, as somebody who's been vegan for a long time and never had problems with protein, just for a hockey game, that would be a lot of protein that you need to be able to have stored in your belly. I'd probably go with like the Nate McKinnon route. Like, I'd go with like a sweet potato, maybe 1 or 2 sweet potatoes.
Okay. Is Nate McKinnon vegan?
He's not, but he doesn't do dairy anymore is the thing. He doesn't do dairy and pasta or something like that.
But he does the meat.
Yeah, he eats, I think he eats like chicken breast and sweet potatoes for every pregame meal.
Okay. I mean, chicken's definitely a popular one among athletes because
light, right?
Light protein, but high in protein. And sweet potatoes, I know, are very popular just amongst people in general. I'm not a sweet potato fan, but I know they've become very popular in the last decade plus.
Something about the sweet potatoes don't make your blood sugars crash or something like that. I think you maintain your levels a little bit better.
Yeah, I can see
Whereas
that, yeah.
pasta, I think you get a major crash. I actually love tofu. Robbie, have you ever had tofu?
I've had real tofu, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think of tofu?
It's actually like on looks, it does not look appetizing.
Yeah, it looks like
it's just like solidified. It looks like white Jello is what it
Yeah.
looks like. But I had it from like a legit place, and I honestly thought it was actually really good. Like it's something that I would eat again if I knew it was made correctly. Yes.
Yeah, so it's very versatile, and yeah, it's kind of like it feels like I don't know, it's very spongy when you take it
Yeah.
out of a package, and it can be off-putting, I guess, as far as that goes. But I actually love tofu, and and as long as you know how to see, if you can season chicken, or if you can barbecue and you can season things, you can make tofu taste really good. So my pregame meal would probably be like literally a block of tofu. I would need all of that protein, and then I would have like a sweet potato. And you know what I like to put on sweet potatoes is I like to make a little gravy. Like I can make like a vegan like mock chicken or turkey type gravy.
Okay.
I like to put a little gravy on there. So that would be mine. What about yours? What would yours be?
Yeah. I'd probably lean pasta with some kind of meat. Probably not any kind of dairy though. My body does not always agree with dairy, so I'd have to go with like a meat sauce or a pesto sauce, and throw on probably chicken. I prefer chicken with pasta, or even a slab of salmon that's cooked up.
There you go. Salmon.
Yeah,
That's a great option too.
Yeah, salmon's light, and it's very light, very fulfilling,
Nutrient dense.
very nutrient dense, very filling. And then some kind. Again, I don't even necessarily, when I eat pasta, I don't need a ton of sauce. I can do it with just like a pesto or an olive oil on top too. Especially if the salmon or meat would be seasoned well, you could easily get that mixed around and get a good. But a pasta and some kind of either chicken or salmon.
Yeah, like a pasta and a light protein on there. I wonder if anyone eats like red meat before a game and just gets like the meat sweats and then passes out for 2 hours. And
I don't know if I'd want to do eat like a porterhouse and then have to go skate, play 20 minutes of hockey. You'd probably be like just sweating
You'd probably feel
you'd
like
probably
shit.
just smell like meat.
You would. You'd probably smell like meat. I wonder if back in the day, I bet you dudes would have like a glass of milk and like a porterhouse steak with like a baked potato.
They probably did, yeah. And then
A cigarette.
And they probably put down a lager in between periods.
Yeah, they were built different back then.
They were built very different.
Let us know what your pregame meals would
Yeah,
be.
absolutely. We'll go over them. We'll judge them.
Yeah, we'll judge them and go over them. What do you think Garrett's pregame meal would be?
Shit.
Cheez-Its and a chocolate milk.
whatever you give a 5-year-old before he goes to bed.
Yeah, whatever they give you for snack
fruit gummies and a chocolate milk out of a little carton.
I miss Garrett. I miss when he was on.
A
here.
hot
He's like
pocket.
a hot pocket. Yeah.
I do believe there will be some Garrett jokes from Brian in the next mailbag. I was going through the questions, and I believe there will be some Garrett poking in the next mailbag. So pay attention for that.
I like that.
Yes. Andreas with a financial question. What is the highest amount of money you would pay for a Game 7 of the Stanley Cup with the Penguins?
When it comes to towing, seeing is believing. That's why Chevy Truck's advanced camera technology offers up to 8 available cameras for 14 unique views, so you can focus on the view that really matters. Chevrolet, together let's drive. Learn more about Chevy Trucks at Chevy.com. Safety or driver assistance features are no substitute for the driver's responsibility to operate the vehicle in a safe manner. Read the vehicle owner's manual for important feature limitations and information.
Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No, don't. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/save. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
Hey, it's Kaylee Cuoco for Priceline. Ready to go to your happy place for a happy price? Well, why didn't you say so? Just download the Priceline app right now and save up to 60% on hotels. So whether it's Cousin Kevin's Kazoo Concert in Kansas City, go Kevin, or Becky's Bachelorette Bash in Bermuda, you never have to miss a trip ever again. So download the Priceline app today. Your savings are waiting.
Go to your happy place for a happy price. Go to your happy price, Priceline.
Playing.
He didn't specify money.
That's true. He said, what amount would you pay? So the payment, he didn't say if you could barter, if you could do favors, if you could do hard labor. He did not specify physical money. So that is a good point.
Because originally I'm like, well, like, I don't want to pay. They're making so much money. I don't want to pay money to see them get to where you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, I would probably, for them, and it's tough right now because we're in the off season and we're not in the midst of like the storyline that is a regular season, and you're hoping, because like last year with the Penguins, when they were close to the playoffs down that stretch and Ned was standing on his head, like, for example, if I'm in that position again, I'd give up my pinky toe.
Oh yeah, you're definitely.
I would give up a pinky toe. I would get like an embarrassing tattoo of some sort. I would I would probably get a combination of like shaving my eyebrows and cutting off my pinky toe and getting like a horrendous tattoo, or like my nipples pierced or something really embarrassing like that. I'd probably like give up veganism for like a straight week and make myself really sick to see them in a game 7.
Can you imagine how sick you would get if you just straight up cold turkeyed veganism?
I since we're on that topic, I'll save it for at the end of when we're done with the mailbag. But that happened. I did that once, and I had an insane experience. But like, I would do a combination of like bodily harm to see a Game 7 Stanley Cup final like next season with the Penguins, for example. Like, yeah, I'd shave my eyebrows. I would cut off one or maybe even both of my pinky toes myself, and like get some sort of like painful piercing and a bad tattoo. What about you, Robbie?
Man, a tattoo would be tough. Piercing maybe, but that's not really. I mean, that kind of cheating my way out of there. I would pay $500.
500
in straight cash. I would if I had to figure out what my least favorite food was and eat it every meal for a month, I would do that
easily.
Easily, I'd stomach through that for a month for a free ticket to a Game 7 to watch the Penguins in the Stanley Cup final. Yeah, I mean, 500 straight cash, disgusting food, something along those lines.
Would you like perform like a Jackass-esque stunt on camera for that?
As long as I knew that I wasn't going to die.
100% you're not going to I
mean, yeah, I would do.
They might like launch you off of like I don't know. They might like launch you really high into water and make you belly flop. They might.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Like,
that would hurt, but I'd get over it.
They might like lock you in a dark house with like a bear in there or something, and you just. But I don't know. I'm trying to think of some of those Jackass
plenty of
stunts.
Jackass stuff that I know would hurt, but I mean, I could probably justify the pain for the reward.
If you could wear a helmet and like protect like any sort of like organs like externally, like would you take like a slap shot from like Evgeny Malkin from the point or something, or from the dot or something?
I know they've done that wearing full goalie gear. If I could wear full goalie gear, I would take a slap shot.
What about if you could only wear the mask with the neck protector?
Absolutely not. No.
And a cup.
No, that I would not take the risk of shattering a leg or arm or getting hit in the liver or something like that.
Yeah. Andreas Castle also said it's just for the Game 7. It doesn't even guarantee that they win. It could all just be for naught and a heartbreak. But a Game 7 Stanley Cup is...
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Again, yeah. I that's kind of what I assumed, that it was like no guarantee you were just going to the game. No guarantee they were going to win or anything like that.
So we'd give up a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I think this question's going to you.
Yeah.
Did you, Andreas again asks here, did you watch the opening ceremony of the Olympics? He thought it was awesome, but the most enjoyable part was Gojira blowing everybody away.
So I didn't get to watch it live because I was out of town that weekend. I watched some
I heard people were disappointed. I didn't watch it either.
From what I saw, it was an extremely French opening ceremony, which that's how the opening ceremonies go. They put on your culture and stuff like that.
True.
I did see the part that he was talking about, which was, I don't really know anything about this band, but they're a French heavy metal rock band, and they were at some location. I don't know exactly where, but they played a song, and they had like fire, and it was just a very intense performance. It was good. I will say that. So like, if you were into that kind of heavy metal rock, I'm sure that was an extremely fun and exciting part of the opening ceremony. I just saw highlights, but I did know it was pouring down rain, and on the river is a very cool aspect that not many places can pull off because they don't have a river like the Seine running right through the middle of them. But no, I mean, an opening ceremony, I don't know. That's not like, I want to attend the Olympics. The opening ceremony is not like a bucket list thing for me because I think it's more or less just kind of a concert musical play type thing that's not really up my alley. But if you enjoyed it, that's great. If you didn't, I could see why you wouldn't, because I'm sure it's not everybody's piece of pie. But no, that's my take on it. I was out of town, so I only got to see bits and pieces on social media and stuff.
Yeah, I didn't see it either. I just saw the outrage online about it. But I guess if it's French and
yeah, if you're offended by the French, then they did their job. All right, we are wrapping up this episode with Brian here. He said, I knew there was a reason Snail is my flow bro. He said, Hillary Duff has always been a babe since Wendy meets Casper.
Since Wendy meets Casper? Do I need to Google this?
That's going way back, I think.
Oh, from Casper the Friendly Ghost. Oh my God, I didn't even notice that Hillary Duff was in Casper. Wait, Casper meets Wendy. Who's Wendy?
I'm thinking Wendy's one of the children in the movie.
Casper meets Wendy. The Little Witch? Oh God. Wendy the Good Little Witch. So I don't know what that is. So I'm learning stuff right now. I didn't. She looks a little young there, but yeah, when I was that age, maybe I would have. I don't know. It's not registering with me, but yeah, I'm glad to know that Brian's also a fan of Hillary Duff and her many works. Yeah, she's been a babe and probably will continue to always be a babe into the future. Big fan of her music career. So it's good to know that, another thing we have in common there besides great hair, Brian.
Yeah. I mean, Hillary Duff for our generation is definitely, if you had to take a running tally of celebrity crushes, I'm assuming she's going to pop up probably pretty frequently for our generation, because again, that Disney Channel era, we kind of all grew up with that. So she was obviously one of the stars of Disney. So definitely would be
also only like one of the few, like I think a lot of people would probably bring up like Lindsay Lohan, Britney Spears. Mm-hmm. But like Hillary Duff was the only one that really made it out of all that like unscathed, like without like drug addiction and like massive drama. She kind of just like got out of Disney after she made her cash and started her music career, and then she was like, then she married Mike Comrie. Yeah. And they had kids. She had kids early, and she just like didn't really get into a bunch of trouble. So another reason why I think she's favored by so many of us is there isn't that era of like, oh God, like it just kind of like, tough to watch through like TMZ type crap,
Yeah, definitely. She was definitely kind of, once she was done with Disney, just kind of, I don't want to say faded off, but kind of quietly went along her way. And she's kind of had like, she doesn't act or anything, too much anymore, but she's kind of, you've heard more of her name, but only in a positive light, more or less, these last few years than in a negative light, like some of the other child actors that we grew up watching on TV.
Yeah, a lot of them had a lot of trauma. I mean, there's like documentaries coming out about some of that dark shit that went on.
Oh yeah,
but fortunately, she seems to be somewhat unscathed and has just like a pretty cool. She's just kind of like a. I don't even know if you call her an influencer because she's just super famous, but she's obviously not having to go out there and like do a bunch of work anymore to make money. She's just like kind of living off of her fortune.
And let's knock on wood, it stays that way.
Knock on wood for Hillary. Yep. I think that wraps up the mailbag, but I was going to tell you about how I broke. I don't know if too many people know. I don't know if I've mentioned this on here before or not, but I am part Native American. I belong to a tribe out here on the Pacific Coast, and so with that, I go once or twice a year to it's called like tribal council. It's basically where the whole tribe gets together and they vote on things. They give news and updates about. It's just kind of like a big meeting of the tribe that happens twice a year. But there's always a massive spread of, and you know, we're on the Pacific Coast here. Culturally, most of the food that they provide us is like fresh caught salmon that they cook the old fashioned way. They smoke it out on the beach even sometimes. There's oysters, clams, king crab, or not king crab, Dungeness crab. Sorry, okay. Dungeness crab.
Yeah.
Just a huge seafood feast. And one year I was like really toiling with the idea of like, you know, it's not like factory farmed kind of bullcrap. It's not the quality's all there and it was caught as ethically as possible, if you even want to call it that. Like it's not like Costco mass farm type stuff. And anyways, I toiled with the idea and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have a day and I'm going to indulge in the food that they provide us at this thing. And I have no, I'm trying to think of the word. It's like, once I started eating it, I just went crazy with it. Yeah. I had lots of rich food. So I think I had like, I had 24 oysters. And then I had 2.5 entire crabs to myself, as well as like, I think I had like 4 salmon steaks. And this is somebody hasn't touched, you know, that type of food or animal food or whatever. Mm-hmm. It had been like 6 years or something at that time, 5 or 6 years. And it was delicious going down, but I had the runs for days. I got a mild fever. I had like IBS.
Your body went like full on rejecting all that stuff you ate.
It went crazy. And it was also crazy because like after I ate that, I wasn't hungry again for like, it was like 24 hours. I wasn't hungry for 24 hours. And then I just had like the squirts and I had crazy IBS symptoms. My body was and I had like, I got a mild fever even. I don't know what that was from, but my body went berserk. And I was like, well, that might have been better had I had self-control and just like had like 1 salmon steak and maybe half of a crab to myself and like 2 oysters. But I went into the double digits and things got crazy and then I never really went back since or anything like that. That experience scarred me. One thing as a vegan, you really can't get oysters, like a vegan like replica of an oyster where you're shucking it and you're slurping that down and you add the like horseradish or the whatever sauce. There's nothing like that. And I'd craved one for so long and I really scratched that itch. And now if I think of an oyster, it makes me a little green. So I killed that temptation and all that went with it that one day back 2 years ago now. So if you're out there, and this goes for anyone, even if you're not vegan, don't overdo it on stuff, because that's probably my biggest issue is I overdo it. And that's what came back to bite me in the rear end, quite literally.
I mean, I could definitely see that. I mean, you're going from a pure vegan, clean diet to basically what is the exact opposite. And the body is just not ready for that. And you just went you just went from like easing your way back in to full on like just taking anything you could find, and your body was just like, absolutely not. Your body's so used to just plant-based food, tofu, vegetables, and you just went like full on proteins and meats, and again,
fats.
It wasn't like red meat and anything like that, but like, oh,
if it was red meat or something, I might have collapsed and
your body might have gone into like shock and like just killed itself. But I mean, I'm sure that you did not. Your stomach was not right for.
It was a long time after that. I remember having like IBS symptoms for a long time, just thinking I'm like, yeah, it's just was too much at once. I should have eased into it and had a light one. But once I got in, I had a crab leg, and I was like, my body was like, oh, I remember that. And then it was just like, you could literally go up to this thing and you could just take off the grill a whole half of a crab. And I just was like, I took 4 of those and put them on my plate. And then I went over and just was like an armful of oysters. And then like they had these freshly grilled up steaks of salmon and pulling those off left and right, eating the skins, eating everything. Delicious. But yeah, I told you what happened. So we don't need to go over the details again. But
that's pretty brutal.
Yeah, but it's hard. I mean, I think people there have a hard time really, containing themselves because there's just so much good food.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Freshly prepared.
Absolutely. No doubt about that.
I think everyone probably walks away a little sick after a day like that, but I probably had it the worst because of my overindulgence. So that's my story of that. Robbie, out there on the East Coast, you probably don't really. Do you guys get Dungeness crab?
I don't know about Dungeness out here. We get like blue crabs.
Are those like the soft shell, like po' boy crabs?
Soft shell are their own kind of crab. Blue crabs actually have a hard shell that you have to get the meat out of the shell. Soft shells are actually, you can buy soft shell crabs as themselves.
Is that the one where you go to like gas stations and they have those deep fried and it's just the whole crab and it's in like a sandwich, aren't they called a po' boy?
Yeah, so po' boys are generally shrimp or chicken. You can get some, like if you get into a place like down south, New Orleans, on the coast down there, you can get a po' boy with a bunch of different fillings. But if you're going to like just a mock kind of Cajun restaurant, your po' boy choices are usually shrimp or chicken. You might get one where it's like crab, but it's already like cooked and peeled and it's just in the bun. But you can get soft shell crab sandwiches, or you can buy like a bucket of soft shell crabs that are cooked and seasoned that you can eat just like that. But if blue crab,
have you had them?
Yeah, when we go down to like the Baltimore area or the beach, you can get it. They're pretty much everywhere down there. You can get them pretty much at any restaurant down there. So
yeah, and then do salmon swim in your guys' rivers?
No, we don't have salmon.
You don't?
No, we do not have salmon.
What do you have in those rivers?
We have
besides
trout,
dead bodies.
Yeah, besides trout, bass, catfish.
Okay, so catfish, that's a popular one.
Yeah,
out where you're at, probably, right? Like, do you guys like eat catfish?
You can get catfish even if it's not a strict seafood restaurant. You can get catfish fillets at a lot of restaurants around here because they are more plentiful out on the eastern seaboard.
Have you had catfish?
Yeah, we used to catch catfish when we were younger.
Were you noodling?
No, we didn't noodle. The catfish we caught weren't that big. They were small. Like up north, they get a little bit smaller. The noodling's more in the south where they're like the size of humans. Yeah, those are monster catfish.
Yeah, we have catfish here. I don't know if they're the same type of catfish, but there's there's this slough by where we live that goes into Lake Washington, and you'll see these like slough people out there noodling and catching catfish. And
yeah,
catfish are weird because they're kind of like an amphibian. Like, don't they have like a more of like they have like a different skin? They're not scales. It's like they have a slimy skin.
They're almost like a salamander type skin. But they kind of, you know what an axolotl is?
Yeah, I do.
They kind of have like a face of an axolotl with whiskers.
Yeah, they're an interesting creature. But it's weird because I bet we even our like European listeners, dude, the seafood probably differs so much for all
has
of
to
us.
vary because like the seafood varies so much from location to location. It had like you could go to like over in like where Andreas is, and they'd have completely different choices of fresh seafood as compared to what even you or I have. Like you or I have completely different choices of fresh seafood than each other, and we're in the same country.
We're in the same country, but on different oceans.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I was just curious about that because if growing up here, it's always been like Dungeness crab, salmon, and we have lake fish too. But I couldn't even tell you what we have. Can you eat bass? Like those big? They call them hogs.
Yeah, you can eat bass. You have to just clean them and make sure because they're bony fish. They have like a catfish is just fillets, whereas a bass is like a panfish. We call them out here, and they have the bones all through them. You just gotta, if you're good at it, like people are they clean fit, like that's what they do. They fish and they clean them. They can get them, but even then, like the little bones will break off, and you just got to be careful. That's it. It's nothing crazy, but it can be annoying to eat, and then you have to pick out bones and stuff. So just something you have to be careful of.
So I know you guys have the big rivers, right? But do you guys have like lakes and stuff?
Yeah, we have some lakes around, especially like again, it depends on the state. Like New York has a lot of lakes. Minnesota has a lot of lakes. Up New England, there's lakes all over the place. Pennsylvania, not like there's a few big lakes, but nothing crazy like some of the northern states. But yeah, there's a lot of lake fishing that's done up in New England and stuff.
But do you go fishing ever? Is that something you guys do?
We used to a lot when we were kids. We don't as much anymore.
Yeah, but all of our listeners, let's talk, what's the seafood like over there? Because I guess some of you, is there an ocean near Germany? Like for Andreas, like is there?
Depending on where he'd be in Germany, he'd be not far from the North Sea, which is up in the Scandinavia area. I know Germany has a bunch of lakes and rivers, so I don't know exactly what they might get that way. But like Kim and Denmark would have a ton of sea creatures there. Denmark's the sea, Scandinavia. Tony Gale in England would have.
Oh yeah, England's like an island, right?
Yeah, they'd have their own seafood. So
eel pie.
Yeah. Oh. But yeah, that just sounds it didn't sound good. But like, you can go down to Baltimore here, and they're right on the bay. They're known for their seafood, crabs, oysters. They have the Old Bay. They have all kinds of sea fish and freshwater fish as well.
Don't you guys have like horseshoe crabs out there?
Yeah, don't know if I've ever eaten I don't know if you can eat horseshoe crab though.
But they're like a prehistoric animal.
Yeah, they are wild looking. Yeah, they look like they have a helmet on, and then underneath, if you flip them, they have a big tail, and then if you flip them over, they literally look like a prehistoric dinosaur. They
look like a prehistoric Pokemon or something.
Yeah,
like they're crazy looking. But we don't have those out here. But I've seen them online and stuff out in the east. Yep. I think they're in the Atlantic Ocean. So, anyways, thank you again for the. We'll wrap this up. But thanks to all of our listeners, and just let us know what you guys are up to this summer. What are you guys doing out there without the Penguins and hockey filling up your lives? We're just working and having COVID out here, so that's what we've been doing. Yeah.
But yeah, let us know, and hey, we're always down to chat. We love talking to you guys. But if Snail has nothing else, I'm going to wrap this one up. He's shaking his head no. So for Snail, I'm Robbie. We will talk to you guys later this week.